What kind of a life do you think your family, your children, your grandchildren are going to have in this country if these people do what they want to do? I grew up in the 1960s. I was maybe 7 years old during the riots in South Plainfield.
You grew up in the 60s, my people are dying every day. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
The judicial system works.
Yeah.
We trust the process. We vote.
And that changed. There was no racism in the United States. There was no racism. There was none. Now they've recreated racism. They've recreated it.
Not in your world. So all my forefathers who hung on that strange fruit, it did work.
Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Fight for Trump! Americans, this is your chance to fight for your country. When do you get the honor to actually fight for your country and not fight for a foreign land, to fight for your country the rest of your life? You need courage. You need courage. You men need courage. Men, women, all of you need courage. You need courage. People here. Just got pepper sprayed by the guy over there. You are an oath for the Constitution. You are an oath for the Constitution. From President Trump's tally, and you can't stand there and tell me that it worked.
Out of the clashes that came from raiding Capitol Hill, there was one interjection I seen on a stream, and it blew me away because as an individual who's mixed race, although I live in England, the UK, the actual point that was being made resonates with every white person, every black person all over the world. When you talk about the polarization and identity politics that has taken place, that has divided people along racial lines, the point that this gentleman made surely would knock anyone of colour, of ethnicity for six. Because how can you truly answer his question? It's a simple one. How can you look someone of non-colour in the eye if you seek reparations, if you seek to dominate what is the white race, to beat them into submission, changing the course of history?
I'm telling you that the bucket of apples had 10 apples in it, and then now it has 8 apples in it, and you're telling me it still has 10 apples in it. You know that's not true.
Changing how people conduct themselves with people of ethnicity, which is in itself racist. So that's very ironic. When you've had and forged relationships along racial lines, white and black, black and white, how can a black person who truly wants all these cultural changes to be adhered to, how can he look in the eye of a white man that is being treated this way in order to supposedly create an equilibrium? I probably couldn't.
Well, what do you think it's going to do for race relations when they make me pay you for reparations? What do you think that's going to do for race relations, officer? You think it's going to help? You think it's going to make white people like black people? That's what they want to do.
It works.
That's what they want to do. They're screwing you.
Lucky for me, I have not got an oppressed mindset. Lucky for me, the propaganda that is being thrust upon black people nowadays in order to treat white people like this to make me feel better as a cultural, ethnic individual in this country. Plus, in order to make me feel as if I can actually get somewhere in life. So this is a poignant thing that this man said, and when you look into the man's eyes when he's speaking to the police officer, which is black, he's got some kind of covering over his face. And there's a couple of points has to be said what the black policeman had said that was legible to a degree. But when this chap brought out that final point, white people are going to hate you for this.
What do you think it's going to do for race relations when they make me pay you for reparations? What do you think that's going to do for race relations, officer? You think it's going to help? You think it's going to make white people like black people?
There's nothing that this black copper could say. You can't acknowledge it without realising that you're actually damaging society along racial lines by keeping this liberal policy in place, this cultural Marxism in place. Red Pill Phil, I love you all, even the pissing haters.
I love you, 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 I love you,
even the pissing haters.
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.